Hi everybody, this is Boogess Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the brand new Marvel Legends X-Men 97 Cyclops figure. So before we take a look at Cyclops, let's take a look at all of the accessories that he comes with. So first up, he comes with a set of open hands. I do wish that we'd have a right hand to match this left hand. I like how this one actually looks more relaxed, because if you turn them to the side, this one is not relaxed. So yeah, I really wish Hasbro would give us a mirrored version of this one. Up next, he comes with a set of fisted hands. Up next, he comes with what I'm calling the alternate left optic blast hand. And finally, he comes with this alternate angry head sculpt with an optic blast coming out of it. And this looks very awesome. I like the expression he has on his face, and that optic blast coming out of the visor there looks amazing. I think this might be reused from the retro Cyclops. I'm not totally sure. But either way, it looks very awesome. Hasbro did a very awesome job on that. So now let's go ahead and take a look at his standard head sculpt. So taking a look at this head sculpt, I think Hasbro did a pretty good job on this. I think it looks like what's represented in the new cartoon. I do wish it would have looked just a little bit more realistic and a little less cartoony, because I feel like even though the Wolverine and Storm figures are animated, I still feel like they can fit in a comic display. I feel like this one's head sculpt is just a little bit too cartoony for that though, because if you look at the sculpt of the hair, it's very cartoony and not realistic, especially when compared to this Cyclops. You can see there's some pretty good sculpt to his hair, and the sculpt to this animated one's hair is a little bit more muted because it's supposed to be more cartoony. I do like how they painted the lips on the new one. The old one did not have any painted lips. So yeah, here are the head sculpts side by side. This figure does make some major improvements to Cyclops though. The Warlock Wave one had a separate harness piece, and it looked really bad when you were posing the figure around. And I believe this torso is a modified Vulcan torso, because this does reuse some parts from Vulcan, but this is actually a piece that's glued and clipped down into the chest here, just like this is sculpted into the abs here. It's integrated a lot better than that Warlock Wave one. It just looks so much better. Because if you crunch forward with this one, then the harness still stays up. But when you crunch forward with this one, it looks natural. So I'm really happy that Hasbro improved upon that, because it looks fantastic. The one bad thing about this reusing some parts from the Vulcan body mold is you get this cut right here for where Vulcan's gloves were on the forearm, and it's really noticeable. For some reason, I actually thought that was articulated, but it's not. That is just really noticeable on this figure, those cuts right there. I think Hasbro would have really benefited from giving us some new lower pieces here, since this is a separate piece with these wrist pieces attached. This is actually a separate piece, so when you're popping the hand off, this might fall off. I definitely wish that either would have been sculpted on or glued down. The straps on the thighs here, unlike the previous Warlock Wave version, are actually glued down. I believe they're new parts that are attached on these thighs, because he's just a little bit taller than Vulcan, and that's because both of these parts right here are sculpted to the figure, and I think that looks really good. I hated how the Warlock Wave one just shifted up and down. It was extremely irritating. The one weird thing with this mold that I didn't notice on Vulcan is he has these little notches on the knee joint here, and as I've been moving this figure around, it's been chewing the plastic up right here. It was sticking really bad, and this isn't pinless, so taking apart would be a little bit of a hassle. So yeah, mine has scuffed up joints right here. So now let's go ahead and go over his articulation. He has a ball jointed head that can look up all the way. He can look down all the way. He can move his head side to side. He has shoulders that can move all the way out. He has butterfly joints that are pretty hindered. I've seen some mods some YouTubers have done where you actually pop this out and cut a little piece off of the joint here. It improves the articulation a lot, because the peg goes into the torso right here. It's a little slot, and it really does hinder it. So if you look up a tutorial on how to fix this, I think it might have been how to fix the Vulcan mold's articulation, then that is definitely helpful. He has a swiveled bicep, double jointed elbows that can bend in all the way, swiveled wrists that can move side to side and up and down, an ab crunch that can move back very slightly. He can crunch forward just about all the way. Like I said, the way he crunches forward in this looks so much more natural than on that Warlock Wave one. He has a swivel at the waist, hips that can just about do a complete split. He can kick forward just a little bit. He can barely kick back. His cheeks do hinder that just a little bit. He has a swivel at the thigh, double jointed knees, which now they move smoothly, but it's only because those little nubs right there have been chewed up. a swivel at the shin, ankles that can move down all the way, up all the way, and a nice ankle rocker. So now, let's do some size comparisons. So first up, here he is next to Vulcan. Here he is next to the Love Triangle 3-pack and Warlock Wave Cyclops versions. And despite the head sculpt being a little bit cartoony, I definitely think this X-Men 97 version is definitely the best out of the three. Now that I see him side by side next to the Warlock Wave one, it's crazy how different the collars on the Warlock Wave one are next to the other two. That's not really a yellow collar, it's like an orangish collar. If you're wondering what some head swaps would look like, here is the Warlock Wave head sculpt on this body. You can see that the blues don't really match up, and the head sits up a little bit high. If you really wanted to fit it on there, you'd have to Dremel the peg hole just a little bit deeper. Same with the Love Triangle 3-pack head sculpt, it's the same head, it's just painted a little bit differently. I feel like the blues match up a lot better on this one though, so if you have this figure, you might want to Dremel this head sculpt out to put on this, if you want a more comic looking Cyclops figure. Here he is next to the Love Triangle 3-pack Jean Grey figure. I definitely wish we'd get an update on this figure using the new female body mold, that would be really cool. Here he is next to the X-Men 97 Wave 1 Storm figure. And finally, here he is next to the X-Men 97 Wolverine figure. I actually just got this figure last week, and I am very impressed by it. I'm tempted to review it at some point. If that's something you'd want to see, leave a comment down below and let me know. So overall, I would highly recommend picking this up because I think Hasbro did a fantastic job on this. As I said, the head sculpt is a little cartoony, but this is a cartoon-based figure, so I guess that's really a minor nitpick. Other than that, though, I think it's really cool, and definitely the best blue and yellow Cyclops figure that we've got. So yeah, definitely pick this up if you can find one. So that's my review. If you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.